actual exam you took. All right, question number 1. Combine like terms. All right, so feel free. So what I'd encourage you to do is, as we're going through this, go ahead and take notes, on the ones that you need to. Label them, number 1, number 2, whatever, for whichever ones that, compare back to what you did, see what you did, right or wrong. I hope you have your, you've written out somewhere organized instead of just like scribbled crazy all over. I hope you have number 1, number 2, number 3, and you can find your work. And all right, so let's see. So how do you do that? What do you do on number 1? How do you combine like terms?
Anything that has the same coefficient and
Yeah.
variable.
Yeah, same ones, right? So the 22x and the minus 19x, they make 3x. Good. 22 minus. You use calculators for everything. No cell phones, right? Tomorrow, so you can bring a calculator that's not a cell phone. So yeah, so 22 minus 19 is 3x. And it doesn't matter what order you do them in. Minus 6y minus 3y. Do 2 minuses make a plus? I'm not multiplying, I'm adding, subtracting. So they just make minus 9, right? If you lose $6 and lose $3, you lost $9, right? And then plus 15 minus 14 is plus 1. So where's that answer? Is it B?
Yeah.
Answer B. Good so far? Stop me if you want to talk more about it. I've got an hour. I'm going to crank through them here. All right, number 2. Multiply. That would just be calculator, right? I'll just say calculator. Is the answer going to be negative or positive? It's going to be negative something because, 1 negative, or 2 negatives would be positive multiplied. 1 negative is just negative. So I would just hit the buttons on your calculator. Number 3. Well, what was the answer to number 2?
12, 2 negative.
Oh, it's C? Okay, thank you. All right. Well, you've got all the answers on your paper there. Even if you had them wrong, it marks the correct one off to the right. All right, so number 3. How do we do that one? Do the powers. So negative 1 to the third power, that's negative 1, negative 1, negative 1. And then negative 2 to the second power is negative 2, negative 2, huh? So how many negatives do we have altogether?
7, 5.
5. And so is the answer in the end going to be positive or negative?
Negative.
It's going to be negative because it's an odd amount, right? So 5 negatives means negative answer. So it'll be negative, and then you just multiply. You can just calculate 1 times 1 times 1. That's just 1. Times 2 is 4, but it's negative 4, not the positive 4. Because 5 negative signs, huh? Is that good? All right. Number 4. How many negative signs do we have there in number 4?
3.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3. So 3 negatives means the answer is going to be negative because odd amount of negative signs, right? That's going to be negative. And then just use your calculator from there. 12, I don't know, I can't do it.
8.
Is it 8? Thank you. Good there. Do you know it's going to be negative? Use your calculator. Questions I can help on? All right, number 5, fractions. So how do we multiply those fractions? Well, you just go top, 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 bottom, bottom, bottom. So it's just 6 times 4 times 1. Yeah, that'd be 20. Oh, is the answer going to be negative or positive?
Negative.
Yeah, 3 negatives, answer negative, right? Because 3 is an odd number. Yeah, so it's going to be negative. It doesn't matter where you put the negative, top, bottom, whatever. So the top, see how I'm getting 24? It's just 6 times 4 times 1. Choose your calculator. 6 times 4 times 1. Top, top, top. Now, how do you get the bottom? Bottom, bottom, bottom. 5 times 7 times 7 is some big number, I don't know. 245? Question.
You know how you have to make them the same.
Good question. That's adding, subtracting.
Because it's adding, subtracting.
That making common denominators is what you're thinking about?
Yeah.
You're right. That's if you're adding or subtracting. Yeah, so we don't have to mess with that here.
So you don't add that to the top number.
You don't mess that way at all. No. Yeah, everybody hear the question? Melissa, right? Melissa, that's a good question. Yeah. Why don't we do common denominators? That's an adding, subtracting fraction rule. Boy, isn't that always the issue, huh? Like, what are the rules for adding, subtracting? letters, fractions, whatever, versus what are the rules for multiplying and dividing? Letters, fractions, whatever. Always different sets of rules. So when it comes to fractions, if you add them or subtract them, adding and subtracting always go together. Adding, because adding, subtracting is just adding a negative, right? It's really adding. So adding, subtracting fractions, that's when you need to make the bottoms the same. Multiplying, not needed. So I'll just write that here. So multiplying fractions, no common denominator needed. There's no needed. Just tops multiply bottoms multiply. Just multiply the tops, multiply the bottoms, done. Easier. Easier, like that. That make sense on that? It's a good question. So you always want to keep those two sets of rules straight. All right, so let me go to a fresh screen. You got all that copied down? I go to a fresh screen on that one. That last answer was what? C? Looks like C. There. Good, all right. Maybe I'm not to the ones you really want to see yet. All right, number 6. Down there on number 6. Well, here, that's kind of. There we go. All right, so how do we do that one? So number 6. Now, what do you do with a 2 on a parenthesis? What did we learn? Write 2 of them, huh? Like my daughters were struggling with, right? 2 on a parenthesis, write 2 of them. So I'm going to write -4 a to the 6th. Well, here, I'm probably confusing you. I mean, you could do that, that's true, but I bet it's easier for you to think this rule. Powers outside parentheses, multiply powers inside parentheses, right? Let me write that. It's probably the easiest way. Powers outside parentheses, multiply powers inside parentheses, huh? Powers outside parentheses, multiply powers inside parentheses. Okay, so what does that mean now? Let me bring it down here where I've got a little more room. So -4 a to the 6th. And if I didn't really leave any room, if you need more room, then go ahead and bring scratch paper tomorrow, and use whatever room you need. So, okay, so remember there's a 1 power here. Don't forget that, right? Boom, boom. So it's going to be 4 to the 2nd, a to the 12th. And is it going to be negative or positive?
4 is negative.
4 is positive.
It's going to be positive. Because there's 2 minus signs. That 2 power, right? Is he in the game?
Yeah, because you're in the parentheses.
Right. That negative is on the field. It's in the game, right? So when the 2 coach says, give me 2, that negative says, yes, sir. 2 negative signs? Positive. If that negative was out here, then he would just be a spectator. He wouldn't be obeying the coach. Right? Does that make sense on that?
On that one, they're not asking for it to be,
Oh, yeah. What? That's true. They left it in a different form. I mean, this is right, but they left it in a different form. What'd they leave it as?
they left it just like,
This.
timed it just like
Yeah,
the formula.
that one's the same. Do you see that's the same? You could, what I wrote is right too.
Yeah.
They went ahead and just made it, they just left the -4 squared, which is the same as this. So are you okay with that? That's part of the trick that's part of learning a language, is learning when the same thing is being said in different words. Right? Do you see that that's the same thing? On that? Yeah.
So why does that just have the parentheses around the 4 instead of the 4 and the A?
Yeah, they could have. It's just style. It's like, why do some people say hello this way and some people say, hi, how are you doing? It's just style. It's all the same thing. If they had written it like this, your question's a good one. If they'd written it like that, that'd be right too.
That threw me off.
Yeah.
Parentheses.
So that's part of the trick of what we're learning is we have to learn this language. We have to learn when the same thing is being written in different forms. Does that make sense? That's the same? Because how can you say that? How do you know? Well, I would just think to myself, what if I squared that -4? -4 squared is +16. That's the same as this is +16. They're both a 16, aren't they? On that. Joel.
Would it be the same if the 4 didn't have parentheses? It would throw the whole thing off, right?
Oh, if it was negative 4 squared like that,
Yeah,
that'd be wrong, wouldn't it?
yeah,
Because why? What's wrong with that one?
because that negative sign's not included in it.
Yeah, he's not on the field. So he's just watching. So that's negative 16 now, isn't it? That'd be wrong. Good. Good. Everybody with Joel on that? See that difference? This would be different. This would be a no. Because that would be a negative 16. This equals negative 16. Where these other ones, this is really positive 16, this is really positive 16. The other ones are all the same. They're just different ways of saying positive 16.
So then, the result of that should not be 16 squared because you're not asking to evaluate, you're asking to just simplify. Is that right?
I wouldn't worry about that kind of stuff.
No?
Whatever they say, that's the only one that's the same as the
Because
others.
that's the one that made me choose E on that one.
Oh, I see. I see. Yeah, never choose E if something's technically exactly the same, whatever they said. That one's exactly the same as the original. Yeah, it's good to get those little issues straightened out. Yeah, I'm not trying that hard to fool you, Alex. You don't. I don't want to fool you. I really don't. I'm just trying to keep you honest by putting every now and then and none of the above. But yeah, don't overthink it. If there's something there that's really the same as the original, grab it. That's the answer. I'm not trying to be like, ooh, I gotcha. No, I fool people way more than I ever wanted to. I'm hoping to not fool. So, good? Does that make sense? All right. So, good. So, number 7, now let's go to a fresh screen because that one's all mucked up now. So, number 7, these are getting a little harder here now. Okay, so bring 7 down here. We got a little more room. So, 6 to the 4, x to the 3, squared, 6 squared, x squared to the 5. Yeah. Okay. So what's the fundamental rule when we see powers outside of parentheses? Multiply the powers inside. Yeah. Powers outside. Right. So let me write that again. Powers. That's a real important rule. You want to know powers outside parentheses. Multiply powers inside parentheses. Yeah, absolutely good. So that power is going to go boom, boom. And this power is going to go boom, boom. So that would be 6 to the 8, x to the 6, 6 to the, 10, x to the 10. We're not done yet, but so far so good. I just took the powers outside, multiplied the powers inside. Now, you could look at this point and say, do I see that answer anywhere? Or what are we doing, number 7? No, it's not there. Look at these answers. Looks like they combined all the 6's and the x's. So I have to do the same thing. Huh? You can glance down at the answers and go, oh, yeah, they wanted to put them together. So I got to put this. So you can remember how we learned you can always rearrange them, right? So you can say, okay, so this is, well, really, so there's 8 of these and 10 of these. 18 of these. And there's 6 of these and 10 of these. 16 of these. Done. Which one's that? Oh, it's D? There it is. Does that make sense how I put those together? Combined them? Now you might say, well, how do we know, why doesn't 8 multiply 10? Because these are all times, aren't these? They're not added, they're times, right? They're right next to each other. They have the same base. Remember, when you have same bases multiplied, powers add. Don't they? Like you have 2 to the 3rd times 2 to the 7th. It's 2 to the 10th, not 2 to the 21, huh? The powers add. Remember how we learned that rule? We've learned a lot of rules in 2 days, haven't we? Right? So they're coming at you fast. I know, I'm just throwing rules at you.
Right there on that part.
Yeah?
The adding part, because I wasn't sure whether I needed to multiply because they were next to each other or.
Yeah. So when bases are multiplied, powers add. Yeah. Yeah, and really the best thing is you could look at that 6 and go, look, 6 to the 8, that's 8 6's. 7, 8. That's what I would. That's the main thing. Just remember, 6 to the 8, that's a bunch of 6's. And 6 to the 10th, that's a bunch of 6's. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what do I got? 18 6's. I don't know. Does that help? Remember, that's what a power means, is brrr, a whole bunch of those, right? So as you look at that, just go, oh, it's a whole bunch of 6's. It's 8 6's. It's 10 6's. It's 18 6's. That makes sense? That helps? All right. Got that down. How about number 8? Kind of running out of room on all these. Number 8. I can maybe squeeze in number 8 right here. So on number 8, on number 8, are there any powers outside parentheses?
No.
So that's a lot of the battle. You see what I'm doing? This is what you want to do. When you look at a math exam, you want to be looking for certain marks, right? And that takes practice and familiarity. If I went to China all of a sudden, I would think that they all look alike. I would have trouble distinguishing one person from the other. But if I lived there for a year, pretty soon I'd be able to tell because I'd be more familiar with the differences. My point, you get my point, am I making no sense? If the more familiar you are with the math, the more time you spend in homework and looking at the practice exam, pretty soon you'll start to spot the differences. Right? Have you ever had that feeling? I've had that feeling. When you take a math exam, you get it in your hand, you look and you did your homework, but you look at the exam and you go, they all look alike. They all look alike. How do I know which one to do? Well, what that means is I need more practice. Like if I showed up in China, they'd all look alike because I'm just not familiar with looking at Chinese people and watching the different distinctions. I'm used to America where I think we all look different, but they might not think so. So it's just what I'm used to, right? So you got to spend more time looking at the math, then you'll start to identify the marks. So one of the main marks I'm pointing out in number 8 is whether there's powers outside parentheses or not. Look for that. That's a real difference. So this one has no powers outside parentheses. So I'm not doing this rule. Right? Look back at number 6. There were powers outside parentheses. Look back at number 7. There were powers outside parentheses. So I had to multiply powers inside. Well then, okay, so I'm not doing that on number 8. What am I doing on number 8 then? If I'm not doing the power outside parentheses thing, what am I doing? Just multiplication. Remember we did some of that the hour before. Out front numbers multiply, powers add. Remember that? So what do? Let me write it down. Out front numbers multiply, powers add. So I go -6 times -5, positive 30, 2 negatives, make a plus, right? Multiply. And the powers add, remember there's an understood 1 here, right? Y to the 10th. Plus 30, y to the 10th. B. Everybody see what happened there? Out front numbers multiplied, powers add. Including the invisible 1 on the first y. Is that good on that?
Where'd you get the 10?
Yeah, there's an invisible 1. Those invisible 1s are everywhere. Powers on the letter. Yeah. Is that good?
I'm being stopped by invisible one.
That's right. They're after me. All right. I'll move on if you don't have any more questions on that one. Go to number 9 here. Okay, number 9. So now, -19 added to the sum of -13.3. So you just take -19, add to -13 plus 3, huh? Just add them all up. Use your calculator, right? -20. Oh, they wrote it all out all weird. Okay. What is it? Oh, it's this one. It's C. There we go. They have answers. So yeah, do you see what they're doing there? That's weird. That's a weird way. The publishers made these. I just grabbed them and they made these weird answers. That's a little weird. They write all that, then they give the answer at the back. But there it is. See what they're doing? See that format? That's part of why I do this too. I don't want you to be surprised or thrown off by some weird format. When you know what you're doing, I want you to be able to get the points. Does that make sense there? What they're doing, they're putting the answers at the back. That's how the publishers made these. Yeah. Rachel, right?
Yeah. There's another one on here though too that did the same, and we'll get to it.
Okay, sounds good.
But it gave 2 different answers.
Okay, we'll get there. Is that good on that one? Can I move on?
Yeah.
So they're putting the answers at the back like that? All right. Okay, number 10. So I'm trying to add, now is that multiplying? No, it's adding, huh? That's adding. How do you know, well, there's parentheses. How do you know it's not multiplying? What's the mark, like in China, that you would look for? Is that plus sign in the middle. Right, remember, it's not right up against the wall, so it's not multiplication, huh? If that plus sign was missing, and that first fraction was right up against the parenthesis, that would be times, and I would just go top times top, bottom times bottom, done. But it's not. There's a separator in there, huh? And so that separator is telling me it's adding, subtracting. So what's the rules when you add, subtract fractions? Just keep that common. Don't even mess with it at all, huh? And then just do the top. Lose $5, lose $7. You lost $12. But you look down and you go, I don't see it. Must be none of the above. Well, hold on. Not so fast. Okay, remember you always reduce fractions whenever you can. What goes into 12 and 9? 3, huh? 3 minus 4/3. Yeah, do you guys have I know a chunk of you have the Casio Natural Display. I know you just got one. Can I show real quick? If you happen to have the Casio Natural Display, some other calculators will do it too. The Casio is just super nice in how nicely it handles the whole thing. Let's see. Show it here. Pause that for a second. So number 17. Okay. So there it is. So minus 2y to the 10th. Okay, yes, that's bring it over here. Minus 2y to the 10th plus minus 5y squared. Go ahead. I don't know if you already did it, but we've been talking about this, so maybe you're a little better at it now. Go ahead and try it again if you haven't. It's making more sense now. Hard one. What's the main rule? Powers outside parentheses, huh? We're back to the powers are outside the parentheses, huh? So remember what that means? Let me write it up here. Powers outside parentheses multiply powers inside, don't they? Powers outside parentheses multiply powers inside parentheses. Okay, what powers are inside the parentheses? Well, invisible 1, invisible 1, invisible 1. Right? Remember, everybody has a power. If it's not showing, it's an invisible 1. Okay, so the power outside the 10 will multiply both those powers inside, be 2 to the 10th. Y to the 10th. What's the sign going to be? Is it going to be negative or positive on that 2? Yeah, ask yourself, is this negative sign on the field, in the game, or just a spectator?
In the game.
It's in the parentheses. So he's going to obey the coach. Coach will say, drop and give me 10. 10 negative signs, positive. Good. If that was 11 negatives, it'd be negative. Because odd amount of negatives would stay negative. If the negative was in the front of the parentheses, it would for sure just stay. Because it's not even listening to the coach. It's not going to do the push-ups. It's just going to watch the game, right? Okay. Next part, plus. Now, 5 is going to go hit there, 5 to the 5th, and hit there, y to the 10th. Now, is it positive or negative on the 5? Negative. Everybody see it's negative? Because he's in the game. The coach said 5 of those, please. 5 negatives is negative. Odd amount of negatives is negative. Whereas over here, an even amount of negatives was positive, huh? All these little picky rules, huh? This is math. Okay, now, 2 to the 10th. Should we stop here? Well, it looks like they went further. See all the answers? They went further, didn't they? So I've got to go further. See how I know? I'm just looking down at the answers. Because I know sometimes they ask you to just kind of stop there. Sometimes they ask you to go further. How do you know? You just look at the answers. You go, oh, looks like they worked all the numbers out. So I know I need to go further and keep working them out. Does that make sense? How I'm letting the answers kind of guide me. I'm hoping that'll help you. You know, to have those multiple choice answers to look at. To go, oh yeah, I'm supposed to go a little further. Okay. Now, do you guys have your calculator? Can you do 2 to the 10th power? Do you have the X to the Y button?
1024.
Yeah, I know what it is. Can everybody do it? It's either 2 to the up arrow 10 or 2 to the XY 10. Do you know how to do that on your calculator?
I don't.
Power button. You guys have power buttons? Let's see. see. No, it's this right here. So you go 2 power 10 into. Yeah, which is that's your power button.
Yeah, you have X and Y.
Or you guys have the same exact calculator. It's this right here.
Ah.
So 2 to the power, so it goes up there, 10 into. Everybody getting that? Everybody finding the power button on their calculator?
Y and X?
Yeah, X to the Y or Y to the X, either one. Yeah, that's right. Oh, you're right, you're right. So 2 to the power, and then 10 into. There it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you guys getting it? 1024. Answer should be 1024. So 1024. Oop, that's bad writing. So 1024. So this is 1024 y to the 10th plus minus, and the same thing. Do 5 to the 5th. 3125. Thank you. Y to the 10th.
Why did the 2 say positive but the negative 5?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, it's because there were 10 minus signs. Even amount, remember every 2 minuses make a plus. Whereas this was odd amount of minus signs, so it stayed minus.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's tricky. So we get to here, and now you just use your calculator. These are like terms. They're both the same letter pattern, y to the 10th, huh? Multiplying's over at this point, right? There's no more parentheses. We're in adding, subtracting mode now, subtract them. Because it's plus a minus, which is really just minus, isn't it? Plus a minus. Adding a negative is just subtraction, right? Just a fancy way to write subtraction. So you just take your calculator, take 1024, subtract 3125, and it's something, I don't know. What is it, minus? 2101, and then you keep the y to the 10th.
So the Y to the 10th.
There it is. Yeah, right? Because remember when we add subtract, don't mess with powers. Right? So many rules, huh? Yeah, so when we add subtract, you leave the y to the 10th. You don't mess with it. Yeah, that was a hard one. Is that good? So practice that tonight. So tomorrow will be a happy testing day. Good with that one? Can we move on?
Yeah.
There's more difficult ones. Number 19. So, yeah, 19's not easy. All right. 19 has like things in front of the parentheses. What do we do with symbols in front of the parentheses?
Well, if they're the subtraction, they have to be distributed.
Yeah, Joel's right on, right? So that negative sign, that last negative sign right here needs to go boom, boom, boom. Now the other ones, this plus sign, it doesn't matter. I mean, he's not going to change anybody's sign, right? And so the first parentheses, you can just drop it. Who cares about that one? Who cares about that one? He just has a plus sign in front. But the back one has a minus in front of him. So when you drop the parentheses, when the floodgate comes down, that water's going in. Everybody's getting wet. All those signs are getting changed, aren't they? So what do we got then? 5x to the 5th minus 4x cubed plus 3. That's the first parenthesis. The second one, just drop the wall. No water goes in. It's a dry floodgate. Just has a plus sign in front. That was all of our floodgates the last 5 years, right? Dry floodgates. Nothing happened. But now we have water on the third one. The minus sign's going to go in. It's going to hit. So it's going to take the minus 6x to the 4th and make it plus 6x to the 4th. It's going to take the plus 3x to the 5th and make it minus 3x to the 5th. It's going to take the minus 8x to the 3rd and make it plus 8x to the 3rd. It changed all 3 signs. See how it did that? That minus in front of those parentheses. And now we just combine like terms. But we good to there? So whenever you have parentheses, you can drop the floodgates, and if there's just a plus sign in front or nothing in front, nothing happens. But if there's a minus in front, that's like water. It's going to go in and hit everybody. Get everybody wet, change all the signs. Okay, like terms now. 5x to the 5th
3x.
minus 3x to the 5th is 2x to the 5th. Don't change powers. I'm adding, subtracting now. No messing with powers. Just the numbers in the front, right? keep going. Minus 4x cubed, oh wait, I better do the fourth power next, huh? I didn't notice we had fourth powers. So, what's that, 3x to the fourth and 6x to the fourth? I'll do the fourth power, guys. That'd be plus 9 x to the fourth. That good there? And,
That's already given your answer.
oh, is that enough to know which one? Well, it could be none of the above, though, couldn't it? So that's why I keep you honest with that none of the above.
No, there's two similar answers, isn't there? Up to that point.
Are there? Okay, well, I'll keep going either way. So now x to the cubed and x cubed, grab the two x cubes and put them together. Minus 4x cubed and plus 8x cubed is plus 4x cubed, right? And finally, the plain old numbers, 3 and 9, 12. So does that give me an answer? See? There it is. Is that good? Is that making sense? See how we'd gone over all these things in the last 2 days, but it's different seeing it all mixed around on a test, isn't it? That's why, for all the math classes you take, make sure, with whoever your teacher is, that's why you really got to study before an exam of the mix-up skill. That's a whole deeper level of knowing the math. Okay. If Kuko has 7x minus 5 yen and Randall has x yen, how much money do they have combined? It's weird. So 7x minus 5, one person has 7x minus 5, and the other has x, and what are we supposed to do? Add them, because we're combining, huh? Does that make sense? Add them, combine them. So how do you add those then? Good. 8x and the minus 8. It's not x squared, is it? Because we don't mess with powers when we add. We just add the numbers in the front, and there's a visible 1 in front. 7 and 1 is 8. So 8x minus... Oh, so is it none of the above?
No, yep.
Oh, it's always a little disturbing, isn't it? I'm not wanting to disturb you. I'm just wanting to keep you honest about... So you don't just guess when you don't really know. You have to know whether it's there or not. Oh, the 7x and the 1x. See, the plain x has the invisible 1 in front. Yeah, so there's always those invisible ones. Stalking us, as Alex says, yes. All right, number 21. 21 says evaluate. What does that always mean? Plug them in, we want a value. We want a number, right? So I'm going to take that 3 and plug it in for x here and there. Take the 9 and plug it in for y there. Oh, nowhere else, just the top, huh? Looks like, yeah. So that's a plug-in one. So let's do that. So we're going to get x plus y on the top, 3 plus 9 on the top. On the bottom, 6 times x, 6 times 3, minus 8. Is that good to there? Which is 12 over what? 18 minus 8. 12 over 10. Is that my answer? 12 over 10? Yeah, always reduce all fractions. Casio natural display will do it for you automatically. Divide by 2, top and bottom. 6 over 5. It's like C, option C or something. Is that okay? Does everybody see what I did there? Just plugging in, working them out. Good, I'll go to a fresh screen if you guys got that down. This will be recorded on YouTube if you want to look back at this also, too. So, fresh
Do you record
screen.
audio when you?
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah, my talking, the writing. It's all good. Yeah, if it's far enough, usually it'll probably pick you up, yeah.
Yeah, you can't hear it very good though.
Oh, if you try it, so you can't hear the people very good? Okay. So, all right, so number 22. 22, x squared y to the 5th. So that's just a plug-in again, right? Just plug in. So I'll come up here. So x squared, so we get minus 9 squared and minus 4 to the 5th. Okay, so I would use my calculator, let's figure out the sign right away. How about, can we just jump right to the final sign? Well, we'll do it one at a time. What's the sign here? Positive or negative? Positive, and use your calculator. 9 times 9, 81. Okay, what's the sign on the second one? Negative, because it's 5 negative signs, right? An odd amount of negatives is negative. And then just use your calculator. 4 times 4 times 4 times, or do 4 to the 5th power. When you use power button. Tell me what it is. I don't know.
24.
It's that 1024 number again. Okay, 1024. Watch this out though. See what I just did there? I've seen students in the past go like this. They go 81 and they find the second one's negative, and they've suddenly made it a subtraction problem. Look back. It was never an adding, subtracting. Don't forget the parentheses. Right? Easy mistake to make. You can't change from multiplying to adding, subtracting just because something becomes negative. It still times that negative, not subtract. Right? Everybody see that? So keep remember it's multiply. It's not ever going to be subtract. Even if it's negative, it's times a negative, not subtract. So then you multiply with your calculator some gigantic number, and whatever it is, you just grab at that point. Joel.
So you keep, so with the x, you keep the negative sign in the equation, even though it's not in the parentheses? Do you get what I'm saying?
So I plugged the negative right there,
Mm-hmm.
but it vanished when the 2 power made it positive.
All right.
Does that make sense? But the y, right here, the negative, the 5 power kept it negative because it was odd. And then positive times negative means negative something.
It's weird because my calculator kept it negative when I did negative 9 to the second time.
Yes, let me show you that. You probably typed a very good question. So negative 9 to the second power. Your calculator's bumping the thing is right. That is negative 81. That's different than negative 9 with parentheses. Remember what we said? He's a spectator. Remember? He's just watching the soccer game. When the coach says drop and give me 2, he says, not me. I'm just watching. I'm not on your team. Yeah. Parentheses, it will be positive. Yeah, calculator knows those rules. Good on all that? All right. So this one is just hit the buttons on your calculator, right? Just, yeah, I think that's pretty easy. Just do it on your calculator. How about this next one? What's this? Insert greater than, less than. Oh, okay. So this one's kind of weird. 24. So it's got negative 7 on one side, and like maybe I don't know if you even understood what they were wanting. It's kind of a weird question.
It's a negative 7 on the other side too.
Oh, it is. Thank you. Yeah, so this side ends up simplifying to be positive 7, and this side's negative 7, huh? Do you even see what they were meaning, what they want? So that way you'll recognize it tomorrow. So yeah, so the double negative here, 2 negatives become positive. The right side is they're having a left side and a right side, and then they want you to put in the middle the correct symbol, the greater than, less than, whatever. So which way, now that I've simplified the left side to just be positive 7, which way does the symbol go? Remember, it's like the alligator, the wide mouth on the bigger one. So who's the bigger one? That one. So it goes that way. So it's B, huh?
Will the test be in the same format as these problems?
Yeah.
The questions will be?
Very,
Oh.
yeah, very much same. The order will be mixed up, but it'll be 30 questions, same amount of ones that are just numbers and ones that are letters. Yeah, it'll be just like these, just different particular ones. They'll look just like this. The format will be the same. Good on that? And then number 25 is just hit the buttons on your calculator, right? Oh, actually, no, 25 can be a little tricky, isn't it? Yeah, you can't waste too much time.
Well, it makes you feel like you didn't get the right one.
Yeah, something must have gone wrong. Yeah. No, there are a few none of the aboves. Know that there are a few. So, like 4 or 5, usually, right? Okay, so anyway, so 27 plus 25 times 26 plus 9. What do we got to do first? Yeah, remember, multiply, because the last adding, subtracting is last. So they're just testing again. They're baiting the hook, saying, come on, add first. Don't bite. Don't do what those publishers are trying to trick you on. Do the multiplying first, get whatever number's there, and then just add the other 2 numbers, and you're good on that. All right? Yeah, part of the issue is time. I don't know how you did on time. Some of you finished early, some of you didn't. So that's about how much time we have. So if you're You might need to speed up a little bit tomorrow, know which ones to do, whatever, you know. The more you practice, the faster you'll get. Remember when you were a kid, it took you forever to tie your shoe when you first learned it? Now you can do it in 2 seconds, right? So it's like anything. You get faster with practice. The sum of these subtracted from the differences. Oh, that can be hard. Okay, so the sum, -4 and 7. There's the sum, right? Sum means adding. The sum subtracted from. Remember those words? From. What does that mean? What are those? It's an English thing more than a math thing. Switch the order. That means these guys go at the back, these guys go in the front. That's what subtracted from means. Swap the order. It's the meaning of those words. So I've got to swap the order. So the -4 plus 7 has got to be in the back, subtracted from what? What's the other one? Difference. 4 minus -1. Yeah, that's tricky. There's a lot of little booby traps in there. Did you see all that? So why the double negative? Well, the first one's because of the word difference. And the other one is just a -1. So we got we got a subtraction of a difference, and it's an order swapper. Lot of little tricks there. They're really testing if you're super careful with those words and the order and the double minus and all that. Right? See why I got that? It says difference of 4 and -1. So that means subtraction of 4 and -1. So that means double negative, right? One from the word difference, the other from the negative that's on the 1. Right? So that that's going to become plus. I mean, I know you all know that rule, but did you pick it up from the words? Difference and -1. That's 2 minuses. Right? So that'll become 4 plus 1, or 5, minus, and now what's the other one? 3? This one's 3. 5 minus 3, 2. There it is. Oh, yeah, it looks like it's C, huh? Charlie, yeah. Is that a military term? Alpha Bravo Charlie, huh? Echo, right. Delta Echo, yeah. Good there? That good? All is well? All right. I'll move on from there to number 27. The product of 3. So what does product mean? Multiply 3 times something, right? The product of 3 and something. 3 multiplied by something. What? Difference. What does difference mean? There'll be a minus. Yeah, keep the same order. 7 minus 4. Wrong. I see that a lot though. Minus a -4. Difference -4, right? Double negative again. Second time they're testing us on that. See that? Double negative. One of them for the word difference. The other one is just a -4, because that was what they gave you. So they love to throw that curveball at you. Right? Do you see that? So how can we do that then? You know that means 7 plus 4, 11, 33. Good?
Oh, wow, I got that. I got the right answer for the wrong reason.
Did you distribute?
I actually just, I guess I pushed it into my calculator, I got 9.
No, E.
Oh, I got you. So it's none of the above. I didn't even look. Yeah, it's none of the above. Yeah, sometimes you get none of the above lucky. Sometimes you get one, that you don't know and you get. That's part of the beauty of multiple choice.
Yeah, see, I just entered 3 open bracket, 7 minus 4 close bracket, and it gave me 9 as a result. And
Yeah.
33.
Well, because you did 7 minus 4, you said. Instead of 7 minus 4. The double negative thing. Watch out for that, everybody. They're hunting you on the double negative. So everybody see why it's double negative? Right? 1 for the word difference, 1 for the -4. It's 2 negatives. So it's plus, really.
It's still none of the above.
It's still none of the above, so you'll get a lucky one every now and then. Yeah.
I put the difference
Rachel.
on that one, but I put a negative and then the parentheses. And that still would've came out wrong, because then it would've gave the negative, distributed wrong.
What'd you do?
I put, minus and then the numbers in the parentheses. I caught that the difference was a subtraction.
Right. Oh, but you put it in the front. Oh, yeah, it means subtraction in the middle. Yeah, in the middle.
Put in the double
Gotcha,
subtraction.
yeah. So in the front would be negative. If they said negative this, then it goes in the front. If they say difference, then it goes between, in the middle.
I chose A even though I knew it was 33. And that's where I feel like they try and trick you sometimes.
Yeah. So you were just thinking, oh, I must have just forgot the sign.
Probably wrong.
Yeah, no, be confident if you know what you're doing. All right, so should we go on to 28? Let's go 28. We're getting close. Yeah, good. We're on track. So 28. All right, let me let you try that one. I think you know how to do that one quite well. So this is the water floodgate thing, right? Minus up against the wall. Water up against the floodgate. Floodgate comes down, everybody's getting wet. Water's going in, right? So that minus is going to go boom, boom, boom. What about the first floodgate? What about when we drop the walls on the first parenthesis? Yeah. Who cares? Nothing's going on there, right? There's nothing in front of it. So it's just a dry floodgate. Just drop the walls. 6 into the 6th, plus 19 into the 3rd, plus 9. Okay, drop the walls. Minus 4 into the 6th, plus 3 into the 3rd, plus. See how all three signs got changed? It was a regular 4 into the 6th, now it's negative. It was a negative 3 into the 3rd, now it's positive. Right, and I kind of scribbled over everything. But you get the idea, right? All three signs here changed from what they were there. They all changed. That's what that minus in the front of the parentheses does. It's water up against the floodgate. Changes all three. Okay, now we need to gather like terms. So there's, oops, things moving all over the place. So there's this thing and this thing, right? So multiplying is over, and now I'm just adding, subtracting. So 6 into the 6th minus 4 is 2 into the 6th. Is that good? 6 minus 4? And then 19 n cubed and 3 n cubed. Plus 20. And remember, we don't mess with powers because we're adding, subtracting. No messing with powers, right? And then 9 and 5 is 14. Is it none of the above? Oh, is it A? A it is. That good? So also when you bubble the test tomorrow, just bubble light in case you want to change an answer. Because any stray marks, the Scantron machine will assume that you answered twice. So it'll mark it wrong. And the problem is, I know people always will come up afterwards and go, Ms. Taryn, look, I had this one right, or it was just this extra. I can't change grades once I passed it out. I wish I could. If everybody was 100% honest all the time, then I could just do that. But the fact is, people have cheated in my classes, sadly, over the years. And so somebody could get the Scantron back and change anything at that point. Then come up, Mr. Aaron, I had that answer. So I can't do it. So that's, you have to, I can't fix your grade once the Scantron is handed back.
I've had one instructor tell us to use whiteout over our incorrect answer.
Oh, wow.
Or like,
Well,
white it out.
the Scantron machine won't have a problem with that?
We've always
Oh.
I've actually done it with a few answers.
Okay, if you want to bring some white out, yeah, feel free.
We did that in biology, it was fine.
Okay, interesting. Who's your teacher?
He was over at Clovis.
Oh, different place. Okay, no problem. Anyway, yeah, but you could just bubble really light. Just bubble really light. It reads it super easy. You don't have to fill in the whole, just bubble, quick, light. And that way, if you need to change answers, you can erase it completely easily. Jose?
And just like this one, we can still write on the test.
Totally. Yep.
The actual exam?
Yep. Yep, it'll be all the same, except it'll be a yellow or blue exam. All right. All right. Certain location, the highest temperature recorded was 104 degrees. We had that almost here yesterday, didn't we? Or day before? Lowest temperature, 120. Oh, wait, the lowest temperature recorded was 120 degrees less So you take 104 and subtract 120. 120 less, 120 subtracted, is that minus 16? There it is, D. Is that good? 120 less is 120 subtracted. So there's 90, or 29, I mean. And finally, 30. Number 30. Oh, just plug in. So just plug in the 2, right? So plug in the 2, plug in the 2. Good so far. Now what do we do first? Parentheses, powers, yeah, right there, 2 to the third. That means 2 times 2 times 2, or you could use the power button in your calculator. That's going to be 8. And this one's going to be 4. And then this is 16 minus 24 plus 43 minus 8. Is it 35? Is it none of the above? It's disturbing. But you could run it again. You know, you can hit the buttons twice. When I use calculators on tests, I would always just do them twice. I'd run through 35. I go, really? And I do it all again. 35, okay, yeah, I must not have messed up. I did 35 twice. You know, I'm saying if I get a different answer second time, I go, oh, I'm pushing the wrong button. And then I'll slow down and be careful. But I would just do them twice, for calculators anyway. Questions on that? Questions on tomorrow's test? So tomorrow we'll come and we'll do 2.3 and 2.5, 2 sections from chapter 2. And then the last hour we'll take our exam number 1 on that.
Did you ever hand out the corrected
Calendar? Yeah, you know, I keep changing it. So the exams are all the same days or the exams haven't moved. So that's probably the main thing you care about. So I don't think I'm going to actually give one out because the exams didn't move. Yeah, so everything else is the same. Well, other slight differences here and there, which you'll see on Math Excel, and I'll let you know in class.
So
but all the exams are the same.
The next exam is next Tuesday?
Next Wednesday, isn't it?
So,
Oh,
Tuesday.
oh.
That's why I was wondering earlier. You
Oh,
said-
I do need to get you that then. Oh, that's right, because no, I do need, it's next Wednesday.
Okay.
It's next, so they did move, my mistake. Yeah, so I'll try to get you that then. Yeah, good, thanks.
Homework tonight?
So no homework tonight, because I try to not give homework the day before a test. So you can just study for that exam, just go over, and this is online too, by the way. Anyway, that 2.4 we did won't be due till Friday. I have one more. Let me mention this, everybody knows where